go. There it is.
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Oh.
Now, being a WWE superstar means you have to control your bladder during a match. Unfortunately for wrestlers, there are no toilet breaks in wrestling. This means that if a wrestler needs to relieve themselves during a match or a segment, they are forced to hold it in or find somewhere appropriate to do it. Well, option A would be better.
Oh my God!
A wrestler relieving themselves in the ring is actually more common than you think, and sometimes this moment has been incorporated as part of a storyline where they've been forced to actually wet their pants for real.
Man, we have a situation.
Now, that being said, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 8 WWE wrestlers who peed themselves for real in the ring. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists.
Be pissed off, then pissed on.
Number 1. Natalya. And despite Natalya being one of the best women's workers in the entire WWE, she has had some questionable storylines over the years. For instance, in 2012, she was given a gimmick where she randomly farted during segments on television.
No, Eve. That stinks.
This angle obviously went nowhere and did little to build a character for Natty other than adding an element of humiliation for the former women's champion. Natalya's next obscure storyline took place in 2013, this time during a match with Naomi on WWE Superstars, as she would be hit in the gut in the match, which would lead Natty to wetting herself in the ring.
I got nailed so hard, it basically caused me to pee, tinkle a little bit.
Naturally, WWE turned this into a Total Divas storyline, with Natalya stating that, "I'm so embarrassed, I know it's just an accident, but this has never ever happened to me, ever."
Don't give me a hug and act like we had a great match, we didn't. You reminded me of a wild stallion in there.
The storyline element would be exclusive to Total Divas and would never thankfully make its way to Raw or SmackDown. Number 2. Triple H. Top WWE executives aren't immune to losing control of their bladder either, as was seen during an infamous segment between Triple H and Brock Lesnar in 2013.
Here we go, Triple H, and here we go! And the fight is on! Triple H and Lesnar!
The segment in question involved Triple H saving Vince McMahon from a Brock Lesnar beatdown. Lesnar and Triple H would then brawl at ringside until Lesnar picked up Triple H for an F5 on the announcer's table.
No, look out! No! Triple H!
However, fans quickly noticed that the moment Lesnar got Triple H up for that F5, Triple H had a huge wet patch on his crotch area. The multi-time world champion had apparently wet himself during the segment.
You know, if you need us,
And
we're
from-
always there. I might go.
And from the wet stain I saw on your jeans, he scares you a little too.
The cerebral assassin even confirmed that he did indeed wet himself during a WWE.com exclusive video that was shared the following week. In the video, Triple H would be reunited with Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. Road Dogg asked Triple H if he really wet himself during the brawl with Lesnar. Triple H retorted by saying,
And note to self, never go to the ring to fight a guy that big with a full bladder.
thus confirming the rumours. Number 3. Mr. Perfect. This next entry into this list is more of an internet rumour more than anything confirmed, so we just want to put that out just before we go into this entry. Now, the story goes that during an episode of WCW Nitro in the 90s, Kurt Hennig and Scott Norton were being forced to hide under the ring throughout the entire show in order to do a running during the main event.
That's what he's doing, and here they come! Here they come!
This is obviously a long time for any individual not to go to the bathroom, so when Hennig needed to go, he decided to use an emergency bucket so he wouldn't wet himself under the ring. Of course, this then meant that Norton and Hennig had to lie next to a bucket of recycled Pepsi for the rest of the show.
It goes everywhere, and then he knocks the bucket over, and I just vomit.
Number 4. Jim Ross. Now, when you're a WWE commentator, you're there for the duration of the entire show. This can be anything from a 3-hour show to an 8-hour broadcast.
at WrestleMania.
I'm very excited to be here. Let's raise some hell and have some fun.
Obviously, if you're calling this show, you can't just get up and leave and go to the bathroom, which means that announcers either have to hold it in for an extended period or indeed relieve themselves. During the early days of Jim Ross's podcast, he stated that he would actually do this on live television, only thankfully because his pants were usually dark. JR admitted it happened rarely as he heavily controlled his liquid intake on show day. Bruce Pritchard on his Something to Wrestle podcast also confirmed this. He stated, "Jim Ross has peed his pants. Yeah, you're out there for 4 effing hours and you gotta pee. It's not like you can take a break and go back and pee. You gotta pee. That's why you wear black." I hope those chairs were heavily cleaned after the show. Number 5. Drake Maverick. The Survivor Series 2018 pay-per-view featured the Raw Tag Team Champions AOP facing off against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions The Bar. The match itself had a strange dynamic as both established teams were both heels at the time, meaning they had to try and get the fans invested in the match in a non-traditional manner. The WWE accomplished this by having the Big Show, who was an associate of The Bar at the time, chase AOP's manager Drake Maverick around the ring before he finally got a hold of him.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Now, due to the size difference, Maverick was so scared that he would relieve himself in the ring. Now, this was of course all part of the show, and actually Maverick was supposed to achieve this by having a special device that would make it appear as if he wet his pants. But the device in question actually malfunctioned, which meant that Maverick actually had to wet himself in the ring for real. During an interview with Metro UK, Maverick stated, "I've been through many obstacles in my life, but peeing in front of thousands of people is probably the most difficult, especially when the contraception breaks," well, I'm pretty sure he meant contraption, "and your only way out is to do so. I'm glad I'm a hydrated young man, I'll say that."
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't get pissed.
However, Maverick would go on to say that the act earned him a lot of praise backstage. "You really don't understand the respect people gave me just for being able to pee on cue like that. I will do anything because, it's my job. My boss wants me to piss myself. Okay, boss, whatever you want me to do." Number 6. Seth Rollins.
What's the biggest mistake you've made in your career?
Clearly urinating under the ring last week.
In 2014, Seth Rollins made the headlines for revealing in an interview with Talking with Soup that he had to urinate during a match on Raw. Rollins revealed that he felt the urge to do it during a tag team match with The Shield, so he snuck under the ring to do it before coming out from the ring to continue with the match.
There might be one person that knows about it.
But if you got in trouble for this being on the internet, I'm very sorry.
Rollins would admit that not a lot of people knew about the incident prior to him discussing it in the interview, so it's unsure if there was any punishment thrown Rollins' way. Number 7. Vince McMahon. The next entry to this list took place in a scripted setting, but it's still one of the greatest moments of the Attitude Era.
If you want Vince's eyes to pop out in front of his head, give me a hell yeah.
In a segment between Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin, Austin pulled a gun out on McMahon and then he pulled the trigger to reveal it was just a toy. McMahon then expressed a sigh of relief before Austin pointed out that McMahon had wet himself in the middle of the ring. Austin would state, "I think we got a problem here. I think we got another t-shirt on the way, and I think that t-shirt might just say,
McMahon 316 says I just pissed my pants."
Oh no!
As the live crowd laughed in hysterics. Bruce Pritchard would later reflect on the segment 2 decades later on his podcast, stating, "There was a segment of people loving it, and there was the other segment wondering what the F are we doing. It's like, okay, we don't do the guns and knives, we won't do that, but now we're going to hold the owner of this company hostage with a gun, and then he's gonna piss his pants. Hey, it worked and we're talking about it today, so I was wrong, but it was edgy, it was different for that time." And number 8, Stephanie McMahon. Now, the Payback 2014 pay-per-view featured a segment that was most well known for Stephanie McMahon seemingly relieving on herself during the segment.
"You need to do what's right for them. Now hand it over."
The segment involved Stephanie trying to get Daniel Bryan to give up his WWE title. She then threatened to fire Brie Bella before Brie turned the tables on Stephanie by quitting and then slapping Stephanie across the face. This sent humiliated Stephanie backstage. As the camera followed her to the back, you could see a wet patch towards the back of her dress. It was rumored that Brie hit Stephanie so hard that it caused Stephanie to lose control completely. The wet patch has never been mentioned on WWE television, which implies that Stephanie did indeed accidentally do it on live pay-per-view. But there you have it guys, 8 WWE wrestlers who weird in the ring for real. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.